What is going on, people? Mike back here from Mike's Movie Corner and more. How's everyone doing this lovely Saturday early morning? And today I am going to show off some movies that I actually bought last weekend at Barnes& and Noble. Mainly Barnes& and Noble. I believe I bought one movie from Walmart, but don't quote me on it. Don't quote me on it. I think I did. And if I look at the title, yeah, that I know for sure that I bought it at Walmart. Now, I'm going to let you know right now that Barnes& and Noble is currently having a 50% off Universal title. So I will say this. Now, if you happen to buy like a boutique label like Kino Lorber and you see a Universal, no, that doesn't count because um, basically they go by the actual labels. Like even though like some movies, Kino Lorber has as a Universal, but it doesn't. It really doesn't count. It doesn't count because Kino Lorber is it counts as a boutique label. You know what I'm saying? Vinegar Syndrome that counts as a boutique label. So anything strictly Universal. It doesn't matter if it has the 4K slipcover, 4K steelbook, and stuff like that. So yeah, just keep in mind when you go to your local Barnes and Noble, just be sure to ask to make sure that they still having a 50% off. But I'm not gonna lie, like some of the movies that I got, I s- I pretty much lucked out on some titles that was like, oh, why is this costing too much? But then at the same time, it's like, well, with that 50% off, that helps. It is, especially if you go to Barnes and Nobles. If you shop at Barnes and Nobles like I do, and you get enough stamps, you're gonna get like a $5, $10, $15 certificate and stuff like that. I believe for your birthday, I think they give you like a $15 voucher, for your purchases and stuff like that. So, with that being said, let's get started. Let's see what I picked up at Barnes and Noble. Now, before I get to the rest of these titles, I'm gonna show you one title in particular that I picked up, and it was the steal of the day. It, no pun intended, it's actually a steel book. But yeah, I did pick up the steel book, and this is a movie that I even forgot that it exists. I knew it existed in the early 2000s and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm not really big on like war movies and stuff like that. But this one, it's like I kind of had to get because I felt like this movie might someday be worth something. So, and it is a Universal title. So, I actually picked up a movie called U571. So, this one stars Matthew McConaughey, Bill Paxton, Harvey Keitel, Matthew Sato, um, and rest of the cast and a bunch of other cast members and stuff like that. Now this is a strictly Universal title, and the regular price is $51.99, and but with that 50% off, it came down to I want to say like 20. I think like 20. So actually, let me see if I have the receipt because I can tell you right now. I think I have the receipt, but at the same time, I don't think I have the receipt at the same time. Let me see. Let me take a look. Okay, so here goes. Here goes. Okay, so for the regular price is 51.99. So that's like 25. It's 25.90. Well, yeah, it's like 26, 25.99 and stuff like that. But I did have a rewards. I had a $10 reward, so that brought it down to 16.95. This is probably the cheapest that I've spent on a 4K steelbook. I think, honestly, I think the cheapest that I spent on a 4K steelbook is probably Sympathy for the Devil with Nicolas Cage at that time. At the time it came out, I think it was 20. I think it was $20, something like that. Something like that. I forget, and I forgot what I got it from anyway. But no, I think this probably beats it. Like I said, don't worry about the 20% off. But since it is a Universal title, it is going for 50% off currently, and this came out in the year 2000, and it is the 25th anniversary. So it came out. I know it came out late last year and stuff like that. Um, you know, I've heard the movie. I have yet to see it. Like I've heard it got pretty decent reviews. You know what I'm saying? But it does kind of pique my interest. So I'm definitely going to check this out. Oh, and I think this movie I think has Bon Jovi in it too, if I'm not mistaken. And this is a limited 25th limited edition steelbook. So I will definitely let you know how this movie is. Alright, so I'm gonna get to the rest of these movies. Now, some of these movies are 4Ks. No, all these movies are 4Ks with the exception of one. Um, some of these are 4K steelbooks, some of these are just regular slip covers. So, I'm gonna show off the next movie, which is actually, before I even get to show off the one that I bought from Barnes and Noble, a big shout out to my friend Nick, who actually sold me a copy of Close Encounters the Third Kind. This is a 4K steelbook, and this one stars Richard Dreyfuss and Terry Garr and Melinda Dillon. And this is directed by Steven Spielberg, who did movies like Jaws, Color Purple, E.T., Schindler's List. Um, you know, um, his lesser um, movies, including 1941, Always, um, which I feel like people forget about those, honestly, and I guess, as a good thing they forget about them. I haven't seen 1941. I haven't seen Always either, but I mean, I'm probably gonna check that out. But yeah, I heard nothing but good things about this movie. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. This is one of those movies. Like, this is kind of like a. I don't want to say it's like a precursor to E.T. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, it kind of has that vibe of like, what's that? I don't want to say Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but kind of sort of, but maybe like a kitty version of it, maybe without the body horror. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a bunch of like aliens just like crashing down, stuff like that. I like movies like this, you know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely gonna give this one a watch. Now the next movie that I'm gonna show off, and this is a Kino Lorber title, and this stars the late great River Phoenix, and this is called A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon. Um, this came out in 1988, around the same time. Um, what is that movie he did? Running on Empty. Running on Empty came out that same year. River Phoenix ended up getting an Oscar nomination for his performance in that. This movie also stars Ione Skye, who was in Say Anything with John Cusack. I think one of his, if not probably John Cusack's best movie. I think best performance to date. If that's just my honest opinion. I mean, John Cusack, he's a good actor. And you would think, say anything that put him up at the top. It did for a hot second, but then it kind of just, like, I'll put it to you this way. This, in spite John Cusack was in movies back in the '80s, early '80s, mid and late. Say anything, that was his breakout role in that movie. I think he should have got major awards consideration. You know what I'm saying? Um, this one stars Meredith Salinger, who did Dream a Little Dream, which that one was, it was, now when I think about it, it, I mean, it gave me big vibes. It kind of did, but except with the not, without the body switching, sort of. I don't know. It kind of had that big. It kind of gave me vibes of Big and vice versa, which that was another. That's a movie that barely anybody talks about. And this one also stars the late great Matthew Perry, and I believe his first film. I think it's his first film debut, but don't quote me on it. Yeah. So, River Phoenix, the late great River Phoenix. From y'all know him from Stand By Me and My Own Private Idaho, which that is a very underrated movie, very underrated performance by him. 91 was a good year for him too. He also did a movie called Dogfight with Lily Taylor, which that two of them gave strong performances in that. So this, even though this is a universal, technically this is a universal title, but because it's under Kino Lorber, and because Kino Lorber is a boutique label, I didn't get the 50% off of this one, but I did get 30% off of it. So it was like, it came down to like 20 some dollars, which, not bad. But now another thing I want to mention is that Amazon is having a 50% off selected titles of Kino Lorber, Blu-ray 4K. So definitely go over there and check those out. This movie actually came out. No, this came out this year. Actually, I think it came out earlier this year. Which this has been on. I believe this one has been on DVD. I don't even think it's been on D. It might have been. I know this was on VHS for the longest time, and it didn't really get much, uh, love and stuff like that, when it came to physical media. But this one I definitely want to check out, most definitely. Now, the next movie that I'm going to show off. This one I saw in theaters. This one's called Speak No Evil. This is stars James McAvoy in a menacing performance. I think he gives one of his best performances here. Yeah, this one's a very good movie. Um, James McAvoy, you saw him in movies like Split and Glass and stuff like that. But yeah, this one, I saw this in theaters. This is a really impressive. It impressed the hell out of me. Now the next movie that I'm gonna show off. This one is very underrated. Now, don't pay attention to the price point. It is 50% off, and this is the limited edition of this is a 20th limited edition of Serenity, and this one came out in 2005. This one stars the wonderful Nathan Fillion, which I think he's very underrated as an actor. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Gina Torres, Adam Baldwin, which I think for the longest time went under the radar. Um, Adam Baldwin did one of the I think one of the most impressive debuts of all time. My Bodyguard, which he should have got major awards nomination. Honestly, a very rich and endearing and emotional performance. This is directed by Josh Whedon. He wrote it and directed this movie. For those of you who know who Josh Whedon is, he's from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He also did the Avengers, and he also did Firefly. Um, this gives me like Star Trek vibes, honestly. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely want to revisit this and check this out on 4K and see how it is. And yes, this is the limited edition steelbook. This is regular $52.99. It is actually $26 and something with the 50% off. Now the next movie that I'm gonna show off. I'm a sucker for cheerleading movies. I'm also a sucker for teen movies from back in the late '90s, early 2000s. And this one stars This is Bring It On. This one stars Kirsten Dunst, Gabrielle Union, and Elijah Dushku. Now, Kirsten Dunst, um, she she was in 16 and Pregnant, that TV movie. Oh no, what was that? Was that Kelly? Oh, I think she was in something. I think it was her. I think that was her. 16 and Pregnant, or was that Kelly Martin? One of them. Um, yeah, Kirsten Dunst. She was in. She was on a lot of stuff around this time. She was in a movie called Dick with Michelle Williams, which I kind of sort of need to watch that one. I think Kirsten Dunst was an up. Yeah, she's always been in the game for a little bit. Um, Gabrielle Union, which I believe she was an up and coming actress. I don't even think she was I don't think she was a household name yet, but she did come a long way. Gabrielle Union, she did come a long way from this. Elijah Dushku, I think she's been acting for a little bit too. Um, yeah, I'm kind of a sucker for movies like this. You know what I'm saying? You also got Jesse Bradford, which I haven't seen him in a minute. I know he's done like some TV movies. I know he was in a movie called Swim Fan, um, with what's that, Erica Christensen, which that one. Think of Fatal Attraction on in water, basically. It it was one of them movies, one of them Fatal Attraction movies. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna check this out. And I'm glad that this did get a 4K. Now I did get this for half off, and I'm surprised I did because this is a Universal title, and it's under Shout. As a matter of fact, this is Shout Studios. So, hmm, that's kind of odd though. That I would get this 50% off, but not Jimmy Redden. But it is what it is. Anyways, this is what it looks like here. But I think because Shout, okay, so I believe when I think I think Shout Factory, I think it's no longer a boot. Yeah, they went out of business. I just thought about that too. If I'm not mistaken, I think they went out of business. So, yeah, I'm gonna definitely check this out. Now, the next movie I got, um, this one stars. This is a 30th anniversary. Stars Robert De Niro, Sharon Stone, Joe Pesci. This is Casino. This is directed by Martin Scorsese. who did movies like Taxi Driver, um, Who's That Knocking at My Door, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, you name it. And you're talking about one of the goats of Hollywood, still going strong. This one also stars Don Rickles, Alan King, Kevin Pollak, and also James Woods is in this one too. Powerhouse cast. I'm definitely going to rewatch this. I remember watching this. I think renting this on VHS, and I don't remember. Well, I don't remember most of it, but I mean, I've heard nothing but good, which is good. Which I mean, anything Martin Scorsese practically touches is gold and stuff. Most of the time. And I'm gonna tell you what movie Martin Scorsese did, which I think was very underrated. A movie called The King of Comedy. This one stars Jerry Lewis, who gives one of his best performances. Sandra Bernard, I think, gives a great performance. Robert De Niro, of course, is wonderful in that too. The three leads give such wonderful performances. I think they should have got major awards. I'm not sure about Oscar, but I think at least major awards, Golden Globes, stuff like that. The next movie I got, and this one stars actually Al Pacino. This is Brian De Palma's Carlito's Way. This also stars Penelope Ann Miller, Sean Penn, Luis Guzman, which I think is who I think he's underrated, and John Leguizamo. Now, when it comes to John Leguizamo and dramas, I think he excels. But when he does comedy, it's a hit or miss. Um, he did a movie called Hanging with the Homeboys back in '91 with Dougie Doug, which that was a very underrated independent film. Um, think of that. It gave me Diner vibes. It gave me. It kind of had that vibe of Diner, but like an urban version. But yeah, Al Pacino, who directed. No, Al Pacino, who also starred with director Brian De Palma, who did Scarface. You know, now this one came out in '93. Yes, this is a Universal title. Pacino was on the road, 90 to like 95. I think to like 95. He's just been bam, bam, bam. I think no, really 89 to 95. That's when he was just going at it. It also shows like how great of an actor he is. He also did Glengarry Roses a year before, if I'm not mistaken. He did just win an Oscar and stuff. With Al Pacino, his career, what's funny about his career is that he started off strong. Um, he did a movie that was, he debuted in a movie called Me Natalie with Patty Duke, came out in 1969, which he has like a one set couple, he has like one and two scenes, that's pretty much it. Um, he broke out in Godfather Part 2. Kept going strong with Serpico, which is another great movie. Godfather Part 2, 1975, Dog Day Afternoon. Um, he also did Bobby Deerfield, which I would say that's the movie that kind of, sort of, is like, okay, we forgive you. It wasn't well received. We forgive you. He did a movie called Injustice for All. Okay, now it shows how great of an actor you are. 1980. He did not do well in the 80s up until now. he did a movie called Cruising, which I didn't care for that, but I am gonna give it another chance, and I believe that was directed by William Friedkin, who did French Connection, if I'm not mistaken. 82, he did a movie called Arthur. Arthur, which to me, honestly, is a lighthearted comedy. I actually enjoyed it for what it was. 83, Scarface brought him back to the top, but controversy hit to where the violence was too much for the critics. It wasn't too much for the people, but the critics, some of the critics. I remember one of my favorite one of my favorite reviews from Cisco and Ebert was that particular movie, Scarface. And I remember they were arguing back and forth, one of the best arguments of the show. They were arguing back and forth. Even I have to agree. Like, I feel like the violence in that, yeah. And funny about that movie is that they wanted to make it X because of the violence, but they went so hard to appeal it. They appeal it to R. I don't think Brian. I think Brian. They wanted Brian De Palma to cut the violent scenes, which he's like, no, we're not doing that. Which no, you can't. You can't really. You know what I'm saying? Unless I don't know. He might have cut a couple scenes, probably. I think. Um, yeah, Scarface. Yeah, that was one of the best movies of the '80s. When Al Pacino did Revolution, it his career tanked and got him a Razzie nomination. That's why you didn't see him in 86, 87, 88. You didn't see him for a while. Now he took a break. He reinvented himself in the very underrated Sea of Love. A lot of people say Godfather Part 3. You know, that was, I had issues with that one. Dick Tracy, and Al Pacino just kept going, you know what I mean? And now, he's still doing movies. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to check Carlito's Way out. Alright, so the next movie I got is Megan. And this is the unrated Steelbook edition. And it does have the theatrical versions of it too. And this one stars Allison Williams, who was in Get Out, which she was solid in this one. The first one I thought was really good, but I heard bad things about the second one. Maybe I might go and get the second one. Maybe I am gonna watch the trailer again. I will watch the trailer again. But yes, this is a Universal title, so this costs $48.99, and it would have been $24 and something. So not bad at all. Now the last two movies I'm going to show off, and this one, actually, last three movies. One of them is Play Misty for Me. This one stars Clint Eastwood in he gives one of his best performances. But the standout of the movie is Jessica Walter, who was in Arrested Development. She's been in other movies. I believe she got an Oscar nomination, which well deserved. I think the best performance of her career here. You have supporting cast including Donna Mills, John Lodge, and this was directed by Clint Eastwood. This was his first directorial debut, which is strong. Now, keep in mind too, Clint Eastwood did a lot of westerns around this time. Back in the '60s and even the '70s. He did some westerns before he switched over to, fully switched over to like action movies. and Dirty Harry. Now, one movie I will say I think is very highly underrated. Is called Coogan's Bluff, which that came out in '68. Which that's a very good Clint Eastwood movie. This one here, Clint Eastwood, this is a drama thriller which you rarely see him do. At the time, you rarely see him do. But this is a very good movie. But yet again, this is the same person who did. This is the same actor who also was in Creature from the Black Lagoon. So I highly recommend this movie. I'm definitely gonna watch this. Um, and no, this is not included. This was sadly not included with the 50% off because it is a Kino Lorber title. Alright, next movie that I got. This one is like, this one's also Universal, but I got this for 40% off. This one stars Harry Dean Stanton. I think very underrated actor. Fred Ward, called Euphoria. This one came out at 85. I don't know what this movie is about. I saw the title, I looked at it, I'm like, this looks pretty interesting. I've never even seen this on VHS. I never owned it, never seen it on VHS. I'm glad it's getting, 4K love. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm probably gonna check this out. Now, the last movie I got, and this is the one I got from Walmart. It came from outer space. Now, I do want to collect more black and white films and stuff like that too. This is a limited edition steelbook, and that steelbook came out a couple of weeks ago. I do want to collect more steelbooks, if possible. I do want to collect more, like, I kind of want to focus on like 80s movies, 70s to 80s movies to 90s to not so much as 90s, unless if I can help it. You know what I'm saying? Um, Early 2000s mainly. But I do want to get newer titles too. But I just this time I'm very picky now of what I get. And if it's movies that I used to have on VHS, and if I loved it, that's an automatic I'm going to get it type thing. But I would be mindful of how much I spend as well too. So, with that being said, I'm gonna have some more movies. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have some more movies to show you guys next weekend. So, with that being said, this is Mike for Mike's Movie Corner and more, and I will see you guys in the next video.